Hey everyone, it's Libby from Maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people. It's WORIMI, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. And yep, sleeping dogs. lucky so-and-so. Okay, now that's Spot. So lucky Spot. Quick update on Sneaks. So it's an inflamed pancreas. They've got her on a IV line. Oh, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. This is why I work. IV line, getting fluids, painkillers, and anti-inflammatories into her. She is a fussy eater, and they need her to eat. So I took some fresh mince and beef and chicken mince in for her this morning because she refuses completely to eat tin cat food, always has. And she hasn't eaten that, so they're going to put her on a feeding tube. Oh, oh man. But totally worth it. I mean, we do this for our kids, so we do this for our fur babies. The only problem is that there is no public health system for the fur babies. And very quickly, I just want to apologise for yesterday for generalising in regards to abuse survivors. Yes, I do understand there is an entire spectrum. I was just talking from personal experience, so I do apologise in regards to that. Okay, in the post section, I have put a link to a video by Nadia For Real in regards to analysing. She's a psychologist, and I believe she also works in the um, theatre or similar industry in regards to E-Kirk's Turning Point speech. Really recommend watching it. Absolutely brilliant. And I also just want to mention, and I have said this before, I really appreciate if you send me a link to a actual written verified news item instead of a speculative video about something, because even with Midas Touch, if I try and watch it, I'm constantly trying to forward through to find the bit that's actually relevant, because there's a lot of waffle, and then you end up also with videos where the information they're giving, like the one today in regards to supposedly Jack Smith, where the video was 10 hours ago, but the information was from, early last year. So it made it look like the investigation had been reopened. So again, that person realised very quickly and emailed me and said, "Oh, sorry." But yeah, not videos preferably, if you can. If there is a news item, if you can do a little bit of research and send me the news link to a actual media outlet instead, that would be fantastic. Okay, entertainment only. However, talking about Jack Smith and what's going on there, I want to have a look at. First of all, one of my lovely viewers pointed out that last night was the harvest moon, which was another of those signposts. Something happening between the full moon, not the full moon, the eclipse, and the harvest moon, or around the harvest moon, that would be quite significant. So, boy, oh boy, there was a lot happening in September. What on earth is October going to bring? So, speaking of Jack Smith, okay, what's happened is that Bondi was in front of the Judiciary Committee in regards to the Orange Twerp ordering vindictive vendetta investigations into those that were involved in the January 6 investigations. And of course, all the Republicans that were there pretty much fed her lines, attacking the Democrats and attacking Biden about weaponizing the FBI and the DOJ, etc. But I think there's actually something quite interesting going on here. So what's happened is that, first of all, release the Epstein files. If you can subpoena for FBI documents, yep, subpoena the FBI files and go for it and lay it bare. Aside from that, so what apparently has happened is that Patel, Patel, has released files claimed that the FBI was weaponized against the Republicans or against Trump back in, gosh, 2020, I think it was, as the FBI had been, the FBI cellular analysis surveillance team or survey team had they didn't wiretap, so don't let that term fool you. There's a lot of deflection. There's a lot of fakery in the wording of things coming out. So just be very aware of that. But what the FBI did was apparently monitored about half a dozen GOP senators and members and House members about who they called. So they didn't listen to the conversations, hasn't got the conversations apparently. But it was basically who called whom when and from what location. And that's what the FBI had monitored. So we're talking about Lindsey Graham, Marsha Blackburn, Ron Johnson, Josh Hawley, I keep going to call him Tubby Tuberville, but Tommy Tuberville, Mike Kelly, Dan Sullivan, and Cynthia Lummis. And I do apologise, I can't read my own writing there. I don't know Dan Sullivan and Cynthia. But basically it was the location, who called whom, when, from what location, without any content. Now, allegedly, the FBI file in regards to this was subpoenaed by Grassley for the Judiciary Committee in time for, this particular Bondi interrogation, which she deflected all over the place, didn't answer, deflected, attacked, lied, you name it. She did her usual, which tells me she's incredibly stressed and she's feeling that the net is tightening and getting more desperate. So basically what happened is that they, Chuck Grassley subpoenaed this to set the stage for claims of weaponizing, allegedly weaponizing the FBI, claiming it was a personal violation of information. Well, no, it wasn't really. If you're considered guilty of something, you get investigated. That's kind of how it works. But okay, so first of all, it's a distraction from the Epstein files, but it's also an attempt to discredit and divert and put dirt on Jack Smith. 45, the Orange Twerp has come out and called Jack Smith a sleazebag. Yeah, well, that's just pretty typical, so nothing exciting there. But I want to actually have a look, because I feel that there's something more here. First of all, it's attempt to divert, but I feel there's something more. There's something more. So let's have a look. I'm going to use the Smith-Waite Tarot deck. Do apologise if I don't hold the decks up. Usually I do, but sometimes I forget. And I want to have a look in why is this coming out now, and what is in those tracings in those, because we haven't actually seen them, we've just heard that they exist. What was actually in those that report? Now, you also got to remember that the report hasn't been released by the DOJ in regards to the Orange Twerp nicking off of all the documents, the Aileen Cannon case. That report hasn't been released yet, even though it's been dismissed. But you've also got to remember with the Jack Smith case that Aileen Cannon had, that's not closed. I mean, the media is reporting that it's closed. It's not actually. Well, there's Jack Smith, and there's the rah announcements from the White House that aren't cutting it anymore because everybody's walking away, including Curtis Yarvin. But yeah, there's Jack Smith versus the versus the allegations from the White House. So the Jack Smith case, or the DOJ's case, he was special counsel on that particular case, bringing forth a harsh truth. There is actually movement on this, not within the US. So I'm going to have a look in a minute in regards to, I just feel there's a reason why this is coming out now, and it's the regime is trying to get ahead of the game. The actual case was not closed, it was dismissed. Big difference. Dismissed and the charges dropped. Without prejudice, which is really important. So the charges were dropped without prejudice, which means it's not closed, it's not done and dusted, it's just paused. The case is paused and it can be reopened at any time. So let's have a look. Why is this coming out now? Release the EPS files if you have, considering you have this ability to subpoena reports from the FBI. So let's have a look. Why is this coming out now? Why is this coming out now? It feels greater than simply as a diversion tactic. Let's have a look. Why is information about this report coming out now? Two cards drop out there. Why is this information about this report coming out now? Remembering that Kash Patel in the first regime has Russian ties. But come on down. Let's have a look. Why is it coming out now? Well, these two cards fell out. Sorry, I'll just move you back a little bit, give me a little bit more room. This card, the King of Wands, this is about action being taken, an announcement coming out. Can also mean a plan by legislators. And he's wearing, this particular king here, wearing his red robes, GOP, I'm going to call it GOP legislators. It can be general legislators, but I'm hearing GOP legislators really drawn to the little salamander down there. Now, a salamander, if you cut his leg off, will regrow a leg. If you cut his tail off, he'll regrow a tail. If you cut his head off, he's done and dusted. But, you know, you can remove some body parts from a salamander. Salamanders can also survive for significantly long times. What happens is if there's a drought, they will submerge themselves underground in a little muddy pocket. They will oxygenate their bodies and hold oxygen within their skin, and they can survive for years. So, right, and the challenge is, I think some might be considering fleeing the scene, like Curtis Yarvin is declared that he's going to, despite the fact that he lives in a really luxury house in Los Angeles, in a blue area, in a blue state, enjoying all the privileges of liberalism. Oh, God. Yeah, he declares that he hates it. Well, fair enough. Go to North Korea and see how you like it. But yeah, the challenge is trying to slink off in the night. Okay, so some might be considering their future options. Let's see where this goes. Why is this coming out now? Because they know that because they know the truth of what is included, or the truth of what Smith has in his files. This is an ending. Stabbed in the back, but it's not just one stabbing, it's a lot of them. A lot of stabbings in the back, bringing an ending at the bottom there. Now, I had this card twice yesterday for the orange twerp, or 3 times, in this same position. They know that if he goes down, they go down. So this is in the face of the truth. This is an ending, a significant ending. In the past, we've got can be formulating a plan. It's looking overseas and formulating a plan. because I don't believe Smith is in the US at the moment. I would not be surprised if he's back in The Hague. And remembering that The Hague is Mark Rutte territory as well. So this is looking overseas, formulating a plan in the past. I really get the feeling that this is an attempt to discredit the investigation by legislators because they know that they're up the creek without a paddle. Okay. As I said, notice that the actual information hasn't come out, just the fact that this surveillance was done. Okay, let's see where, oh boy, the Sun card at the top. They are going to find themselves naked and exposed. Why is this coming out? Because they feel naked and exposed. Because, wow, okay. Something's ready to pop. Let's see where it goes. The immediate future, attempting to manipulate, to divert attention, to discredit the investigation, smoke and mirrors, look over here while we're doing this over there, ignore what is here, look at this fake thing over here. Absolutely. There will be a lot of fakery and trickery that comes out. What's on the bottom? Judgment. Oh, another major arcana. I'm just warning you, there's going to be a lot of fakery and trickery that comes out to try and distract you. Make sure you use your critical thinking skills, good time to practice them, and actually investigate. Don't just believe the clickbait videos and stuff that are put out, including mine. Feel free to investigate mine. I got no hassles there whatsoever. Externally, the Page of Swords. Now, is this to try and reduce the truth because of being a page, or is this trying to distract from a message of truth coming out, or is this a literal whistleblower? I'm getting the feeling that there's going to be social media, as I said, fakery and trickery social media that comes out to try and make you look over here while the truth is actually over there. Okay. Just feel really aware of that, because internally I think they might be in panic mode about this information with the Knight of Wands. So we had Page of Swords, Knight of Wands. I think internally they don't know which way to go with it. It's volatile information that is included, and I just really feel that they're in panic mode about which way forward to go. Okay, hopes and fears, the false victory being exposed. We know all about that with the Six of Wands. The outcome. Every man for himself, dog eat dog, rat eat rat, the infighting, the argy-bargy, the blame, the tearing down, turning on each other, the Five of Wands. The Temperance card. Why is she here? The alchemy, pouring from cup to cup. Why is she here? And then we got the Two of Swords. The infighting. Absolutely. And blame game and attack and you name it. But it's going to be more. They might try and direct their attacks externally, but it's going to fall flat and backfire on them. Then we've got the Temperance card. So this is the outcome. This is trying to spin on the surface here. And then we've got the Two of Swords. Defensive against the legalities. We've got the swamp in behind. Putting up the defenses. Putting up the barricades in regards to the truth. But the Wheel of Fortune is here. And we've got in regards to those that are involved, those that with the Lovers card, those that were involved. And it's the truth of it's a nightmare for them, and the secrets coming out, the being revealed, something out of left field, coming out from an unexpected source, the actual potential detail of it. Now, remembering, readings are only ever based on the energy of that day. There is no guarantee, nothing is written in stone, and personal choices can change what the outcome path is. But what we read on as psychics and tarot readers, etc., spiritualists, is that we are reading on the most logical path forward. However, humanity doesn't always abide by logic. Okay, we've got the Judgment card. We've got the Queen of Cups trying to keep a lid on this, but then we've got the Ten of Wands trying to keep a lid on whatever's coming out, trying to prevent it from coming out, but it's just a chaotic mess of messaging that they can't get to safety. Oh boy, oh boy. So why? Because I think a few of them are in panic mode. Might be some international connections going on there. Okay. Might have been some international phone call. Oh, really? Because I'm thinking about that Two of Wands, looking overseas, the plan, but it can be it can be messaging overseas. Was there some dubious international phone calls, i.e., to certain individuals that are in a country that is above Europe and is currently attacking another country? Were there some phone? Tell me about the phone calls themselves. The phone calls themselves. Were there some phone calls that were actually made, even not knowing the content, from these senators to someone or somewhere that is highly questionable? Did any of these? I'm going to say yes. Those two flew out. They know if the truth gets out there, it's the end. But I think it's going to come out. What's that one peeking up? Their life of, oh, I pulled that and that came out. Money information perhaps about those who feathered their nest. But we've got those two flung out. We've seen them before, but different order. And that one on the bottom. I'm going to say yes, because they're yes, yes, yes cards, and they know that if this comes out, they are done. They are done. That was the Star card that showed itself there. Yeah, some phone calls, some connections that were made. If it gets out, boy oh boy. Okay, so again, it's an attempt to discredit, attempt to get in front of potential information, to try and deflect and discredit and put dirt on the information. So is the information about first of all, yes. We've got the Hermit, and then we've got the Devil. Two yes cards. Yes, they are trying to inhibit the investigation, because those that were involved, they just know that these calls would really put them in the wrong. Yeah, really put the legislators in the wrong. And this card's showing itself to me: the steal, the election, the abuse of power and betrayal, those who were agreement to it. Page of Wands, Queen of Cups, and then on the bottom we've got their back up against the wall. This is actually the stupid fools for even bringing this to notice, because what will happen now is there will be a demand for the actual report, the information contained within the report, to be released. So tell me about the actual information in the report. What do we need to know about the information in the report? What do we need to know about the information in the report? Will we see it? What was it about? What was actually garnered by the report? Okay, the Ten of Cups. Voters, it's my voter card. It's my unity card. It's the happy families card. Could be the ending. It is an ending card. Ending of happy families. Okay, let's see where this goes. Challenged by the fool. The foolishness. There's some... because it was about the January, it was about the election itself. Remembering these were calls that were made around the election, the results of the election in the 2020 election and the 2021 January the 6th. There's some real step off the cliff foolishness from some. You fool, why on earth did you not use a burner phone type thing? Why on earth did you use your private, publicly known cell phone, mobile phone, whatever you like to call it, to make these cool calls? This is foolishness. And I'm really getting a draw towards Lindsay and Hawley. Lindsay and Hawley. Lindsay's not the brightest button in the box. Let's see where this goes. Russia with the Empress card. Yep, okay. In the past, the Temperance card, again, trying to create something out of nothing with the alchemy back and forth, or to mix two things together to create a third substance. Can be a, vote fiddling card. They know. Whoever is involved, they know. And they are really anxious about it. Really concerned, really anxious. The immediate future, clandestine meetings, dark money, secret dealings with the Three of Pentacles in the immediate future in regards to this. We're talking about something that happened in the past. So this is not the immediate future from now. This is the future. This was something that was arranged in those phone calls. Treason. Straight up. And the energy around it externally. Treasonous actions with Russia. Oh my goodness. Internally. Partnerships, emotional overwhelming, cleansing, but new partnerships here internally. So what were these calls about? Wow. The hopes and fears is there's a real fear of this information coming out. They don't want it's about a false victory or an attempted false victory or claims of a victory that will bring everything to an end with the world. And then we've got that fleeing card again with the Six of Swords. Fleeing. There's something here that leads on to the 2024 election as well. But this is, gosh. and then throwing each other under the bus and facing judgment. They're trying to keep a lid on it with the Queen of Cups. And it is about big money and legislators. Money and legislators. Dealings made overseas, deals made. Going to find themselves back up against the wall in regards to this. And here is the higher courts. I won't say the Supreme Court. It might be the ICC, International Criminal Court. On the bottom, the energy that they're in the here and now is the Knight of Wands. They don't know what to do with this. It's inflammatory information. So they're trying to get ahead of the ball and discredit. Knight of Wands, Knight of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. Do they attack, or do they try and keep it secret and hidden and stall the release of this information? Okay, well, this is going to be interesting. So that's that false knight. Not that false knight. Where is it? The Six of Swords. That one, the false victory. It's something to do with the fact that the orange twerp should have inverted commas, cheated himself into the 2020 election victory, is what I'm getting. Okay. Tell me about the International Criminal Court. Now, the head of the International Criminal Court is a female, and boy, oh boy, you would not want to take her on. Look her up and read her bio. Holy crumbs. Bringing downfall. Now, I believe the ICC is now investigating Rubio and Hegseth about what's happening with the Venezuelan fishing boats and food boats and everything else that they decide to blow up and claim it had drugs on it. Now the manipulation and big document coming out. Manifestation. New beginning in regards to a big document. Okay, sorry, I was just listening to my guides then. Just put those down for a second. Don't distract myself. So apparently, from what I can gather, Rubio and Hegseth are being investigated by the ICC for crimes against humanity by ordering the destruction of these Venezuelan boats. Now, the orange twerp, I don't think he'll ever face the ICC. I don't think he'll actually be on this realm held accountable, because I don't think he'll last that long. But Rubio and Heggs, two completely different kettle of fish. First of all, they do not have supposed presidential immunity. But secondly, they're not that old. They got a lot of years ahead of them. And they're in big trouble, or they are going to be in big trouble going forward. As we've got the Ace of Swords on the bottom. And I did see the Devil card peek out at me there as well while I was shuffling. But yeah, big legal action coming for those two. But what I want to have a look at is what do I want to have a look at? Okay, will the information about who called whom be released and where from? Well, the information, because trust me, Jack Smithy got copies of them all. The copies of everything is sitting in The Hague, waiting for the opportunity. Tell me, will the information be released? Right, this card popped out. about who had partnerships with who called whom, etc. But there's some sort of agreement here about, I think, about when. I think this is a timing card about when. Because, I mean, if this information had come out at the time, it wouldn't have cut through. If it had even come out 6 months ago, it wouldn't have cut through. But it just feels like there's a timing element here about when this is going to come out. Can we have this card another time, please? Absolutely, yes. So there is some sort of agreement here about the information is being passed over. It's being held in safe custody. There's a strength to the information. But again, we've got this placating the orange twerp. The challenge is, I'm just getting the challenge is when is the right time. Okay, let's see where we go. At the moment, the energy that we're in at the moment is sort of clouded judgment and the muddied waters and smoke and mirrors, etc. It's difficult to cut through to the truth. That's the energy we're in at the moment, and that's testified by these videos that are coming out. Okay, in the past, looking at the information closely, crowning this reading. Gosh, here's this card again in the same spot. There's a lot of anxiety about this information. I think there's a lot of sweating Congress members in that list. There's that, and again, in the same spot. Collusion, secret collusion, money, externally, the false victory. Claiming a victory, but it's false. It may even be in regards to saying that this happened. They're claiming it as a victory, but it's not. If anything, it's just brought to public attention that these files exist, and there's going to be a demand for the information pertained within. Internally, again, the two of Pentacles, but overseas with the ocean here, it's volatile on volatile overseas, and juggling about quite when. I'm getting when. I was going to say what to do with it, but I'm getting a when to do with it. It's another overseas card. It is my Mark Rutte card, Hopes and Fears. Right. Money trail, hard work going on behind the scenes. Money trails for those that financially profit from this and their foolishness. And they're going to find themselves entrapped or forced to leave, walk away, resign. Jail or resign. There's some, the Sun, disappointment as it comes out, and we've got the ICC, and we've got these Republican legislators. They're receiving money. We've got the manipulation, and then we've got the devil, and we've got the White House. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Some announcement coming from the White House trying to deflect. I think this is going to backfire, because if we keep going, I've got the Four of Swords, being forced to retreat, step back, contemplate in relation to this information. The Hermit, shining a light in the dark, investigation. We've got the Six of Pentacles, finding themselves out in the cold. We've got the abuse of power, and we've got the complete and utter downfall. Again, this card, It's like the Tower card turning up for the orange twerp. I think they're idiots sometimes. I think what's happened is by bringing attention to this report, rather than it discrediting the FBI at the time, rather than putting gravitas and oomph behind the Orange Twerp's call for prosecuting those involved in investigating January the 6th, rather than discrediting Smith, I think there's going to be a call for the actual information to come out and backfire. Is this going to backfire? Sorry, this is turning into a long reading. Is this going to backfire? I think that's a yes. So we've got the money trail, we've got the star, and we've got the money changing hands. An offer, false knight offer, or just a bringing forth of the secrets and the hidden agenda. And there's the ICC again, and there's the investigation going on behind the scenes with the hermit. See what's next. You got those legislators again, and they know it's volatile, and they know it connects them to things that they would, with the emperor, the lovers and the emperor, to things that they would rather not be released. With that Four of Pentacles. Yeah, I think they have really miscalculated on this. Rather than it adding credence, that's what my guides are saying, to discrediting Smith and the investigation, it is going to turn into a nightmare for those involved, because there will be, from what I'm getting, a call for the actual information contained within the report to be released. Wow. And I think it might be not necessarily to us, but people who need to know. Okay, catch you later.